Hi guys! Today we are doing another tutorial. This one is going to be really cool though. Today it is another circle loom tutorial. In the last tutorial, if you're just following the playlist, we did this super cute, very hungry caterpillar cocoon for babies. It's like a photo prop. I mean, if you've already seen this video, then you already know what it is. But we did that with the circle loom, and now what we're going to do is the head portion of the caterpillar, and we're doing that with some red yarn and some variegated pink, red, and white yarn. I thought it would just add a little bit extra. More fun to have some other colors going through. So what you're going to need for this tutorial, the smallest circle loom that you can get that is for heads. So this is like a newborn hat size. You'll need your circle loom tool, like your crochet hook, but for circle loom knitting. You'll need a plastic yarn needle, and you'll need a sharp pair of scissors. I'm using 2 strands of worsted weight yarn for this. Just a reminder, all products that I've used, all supplies that I've used for this video will be listed in the description box below the video. So I am going to start with a slip knot. If you haven't done a slip knot before, you make a loop, hold on to the tail end with one hand, cross the loop over so that you've got an X, and now the fingers that are holding that circle, grab the other piece of yarn that's in your other hand and pull that, and that'll create this nice tight loop. And then that loop, you just hook that right on your peg there. So for your first stitch on that circle loom, you're going to create a second slip knot. So for that, you make a cross and you put that loop in between, and then you pull that other side down there tight, and then you put the loop over your peg. Put your finger on top of the peg and pull that nice and tight, and there's your first stitch on the circle loom. Now what you do to get your project started on the circle loom, you wrap each peg one time. Just pick a direction and stick to it. It doesn't matter if you're going counterclockwise or clockwise. I'm just left-handed, so it's a little bit easier for me to hold the loom this way. But wrap each peg once until you're back at the beginning of the loom, and you'll know because there's that little peg. If there isn't a peg on your loom, just put a piece of tape or something there. Make sure you know where your beginning is, because it can get confusing. So there, then you get back to the beginning. The second round on the circle loom, you do the exact same thing. So you just wrap around 2 complete rotations, or 2 complete rows. Once you get to the beginning of the second row though, that's when you actually start to work your stitches. So now we're back at the beginning. I'm just going to wrap it around that initial peg and pull it back through the loop. You take the tool, grab the first loop, pull it over the peg and over that second wrap around that you did. And then you just do that all the way around the loom until you're back at your beginning peg. These circle looms, if you're only using one piece of yarn, your item is going to come out super gappy and super loose. So double up on your yarn, or triple up even on the body part of the caterpillar. I did three strands of worsted weight yarn. For the hat, I'm just doing 2 because it's not a very big piece and it needs to stretch over a little baby's head. So second row is going to be the exact same. We're actually going to go through, I think we're going to do 15 rows for this project. Again, it's just a newborn baby hat, so it doesn't have to be super big. But 15 rows should give us what we want. If you have to add a row or 2 because it's not looking quite big enough for the baby you're making it for, then add a row or 2. But I think for mine, for a brand newborn, 15 rows is going to be more than enough. So you can pause your video here, and I'm going to actually show you how to cast off as the next part. So just wrap around the exact way that I just did there, the whole way up, all the way until you hit 15 rows. And then when you hit 15, come back to the video and I will show you how to cast off and finish the hat to make it look like the very hungry caterpillar. Okay, so I just finished the 15 rows on that little baby hat, and now I'm going to cast off. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I've just clipped the yarn, gave it a nice long tail, and now I'm going to get my yarn needle and insert the yarn through the eye, get that all looped up and ready. And now what we're going to do, first things first, I'm going to just secure that stitch that is the final stitch in the hat. So to do that, I just stab the needle through there, and then the yarn that I just put through, I pull it up as a loop, and then I pull the needle through that loop, pull it tight, and then through that final loop I pull the yarn through that again, and that leaves me with a nice tight knot right at the end of my work. So now I'm going to go around the entire hat, sewing in kind of like a whip stitch, but just stabbing down there all the way around. Okay, and now that we're back at the beginning, I'm going to go down again through that first stitch and just hold it tight, and then I'm going to get the tool for the loom and pull the yarn, the loop and that part we sewed in, right off the peg, and then just go all the way around the loom. And then once you make it back to the beginning and you've got the whole piece off of your loom, pull the thread tight, or the yarn, sorry, and you can see that it makes it into a little adorable little baby hat. And then with your sewing needle, after you've pulled it nice and tight, then stab pretty much right next to it, just like that, the yarn, pull through, and then pull it extra tight. Now you can turn your hat inside out, and with what you've got left there, you can just kind of stab around in that little open circle a few times just to pull it extra tight and keep it really secure together. And then after it's secure, I just like to stab through the whole thing a few times. Can't over secure it, so. And then I'll just grab a couple of these loops, pull them through. And then when I feel like I've gotten everything secured how I want it, so usually I'll just go over 5 or 6 different areas with a nice tight stitch. That just keeps this thing strong forever, so it'll last. Then I will make a loop with my last stitch, put the hook through that loop, pull the loop down really tight, and then with that final loop, pull the needle through and pull that really tight, and then you could just snip that. Turn the hat back right side out, and it gives you this adorable little hat with the edge just rolls up a little bit, just like how the cocoon does. And now we're going to attach the eyes and the antenna. Okay, so now we have the hat done, and if you saw our previous video, you will see how I made these little bug eyes and how I made these little bug antenna for the Very Hungry Caterpillar. And now we're going to just attach them, and I think I want the eyes to be, I don't know where I want them to be. So we're going to take those ends that we left nice and long on the antenna, and we're going to poke them through the hat. So to do that, what I'm going to do, crochet hook up through that hole, grab both of those 2 pieces of yarn and pull it back down through that hole. Then pull that whole thing through, and then you can see those little antennas will stick just there. So now that I've got them both here, I'm just going to get my my yarn needle, thread it with those 2 pieces of yarn, then I'm just going to sew them in place. So it's going to actually act as another securing piece, keeping that hat together. And I'm just going to stab it through all the way around just to secure those antennae in place like that, just to get the antenna nice and snug, nice and tightly secured to the hat. And then I'll wiggle my crochet hook through all of that yarn, pull those 2 pieces through. I'll just crisscross those over and tie a nice tight knot like that, and then I'll clip it close because they're extra tight. And now you can see those antennae are stuck right from the top, just like the actual Very Hungry Caterpillar is. And then we're going to get those eyes. So here are our little Hungry Caterpillar eyes, and I'm just going to secure them onto the hat. I'm going to just put that eye around the area that I want it, for me will be right about there. Then I'm just going to stab into the first layer of the hat and in through both layers of the stitch. So just one layer of the hat, and then I'm going to stab through the entire stitch for the yellow part. And then I'll just secure that down, and I'm just going to go all the way around. Okay, after I finish sewing all the way around, I pull it through, do a little knot here in the back. Then I put my loop through again, do an additional little knot there, just so that it's nice and secure. And then putting my little hat out back to where I want it. Then I'm going to position that second eye. This time I'm not going to bother with that thread that came on it. Position that other little eye pretty close like that. Then I'm going to come, I have the needle still on the other side. I'm just going to pull it up here, put it through the entire stitch just like that, and then I'll just start going around to this one in the exact same way that I did for that other eye. Alright, so there we go. It is now sewn. I'm going to just push the needle back through the back there and secure it off on one of these back loops. And to do that, I'm just going to pull a loop through, tighten it nice and tight, pull an additional loop through, tighten that down, and then I'm going to just do that 2 times in 2 completely different loops, ensure that that is super well secured. And once I feel fairly confident that that is going to stay forever, I'll clip that yarn down, and then you can see my very hungry caterpillar hat is complete. It is so cute. It's cute, but it's even cuter when you get to see it with the entire cocoon. So here is the final cocoon. There's the little head, and then the rest of the body is just down here. Oh, it's the cutest little hungry caterpillar thing I have ever seen. Okay, so here is the entire cocoon with that little head. It's just the cutest thing in the world. So if you liked this tutorial or part of it, let me know in the comments. Please subscribe if you liked what I put out. I do put out a new video every Tuesday and Thursday. If you liked this video, let me know. Please subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!